Good morning folks, 21st Century Caveman here. Hope everybody's safe, hope everybody's well. And thank you for tuning in to another video. And for those of you who might be concerned, I am concentrating on the road whilst I'm talking, so I'm just vocalising my thoughts. What I wanted to do today was a short video just to tell you about a couple of expensive purchases coming up. Now, one of them you may already have noted on the channel, and it's basically going to be a minibus or a big van which I want to convert into a camper van. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be an all singing, all dancing affair with all fancy electronics and gizmos and all the rest of it, but it will be fit for purpose. So what I'm actually after then, as I haven't quite made up my mind whether it's going to be a minibus or a van. Obviously there are advantages and disadvantages to both of those. The advantage of the minibus is the fact that you've got loads of windows and you've got loads of lovely views whichever way you look. Disadvantage is of course the fact that when it gets colder it's harder to keep warm, so insulation is more difficult. The other disadvantage is of course the fact that there are restrictions as to what furniture you can put in a minibus. So that's that. In terms of the van then, the arguments for it are those which are against that of a minibus. So also I think with a van you're going to get a bit more privacy, you've got more options in terms of the furniture put in there, cabinets, all that sort of stuff. So it probably is more versatile. Disadvantage is that unless you spend a lot of money and cut away most of the van, then to get decent views, to put windows and that sort of thing, then yeah, I mean it's extra work, isn't it? Do you need to do that or not? It's something which I'm still thinking about. In terms of the actual vehicle itself, now I know that you get more room in the Peugeot boxes, and particularly if you're a tall person like I am, I'm 6'4", they're larger on the width. But that ain't necessarily a problem with me because I'm going to have a nice big bed in it anyway, which I'm going to make myself. But I'm aware of that. I actually like the Ford, But anyway, we'll see what happens. I look almost on a daily basis trying to find, just following the prices and stuff really, and it's certainly the case that since COVID prices have gone through the roof. So for example, a vehicle which pre-COVID, then you could probably pick up 14-15 grand. That price is now 20 grand, and then of course you've got the VAT on top of that. Although some people who are selling vans, whether they're retailers or members of the public, they're not charging VAT, so that's something to bear in mind as well. So in terms of the actual vehicle then, I'm looking for preferably an extra long wheelbase, otherwise known as an XLWB, and also with a high roof. So they're the things I'm looking for really, other than the other requirement is a mileage of under 50,000 miles. So that's that. Now there is another major purchase which is coming up which I haven't mentioned before, and I'm going to mention it now. So it's a quad bike. Now the rationale behind that is the fact that when I was a young man, in my late teens, early 20s, I used to have a car, van, but I also used to have a motorcycle. I had a few motorcycles actually. I preferred the trail bikes. So I've always, remembered what fun times I did have on those, going down the seaside with friends, going to just basically being a little bit of a rebel, a little bit of a hooligan in my younger days. And it would certainly be nice to get back on the road again in something less confined than a car. Now I narrowed it down really to a motorcycle, and the one I had in mind was the fact there were two motorcycles and a couple of quad bikes. So the first motorcycle then, the preferred option was the Tenere Yamaha Tenere 700. So I like that all-purpose bike, you know, brilliant road bike, and it's good off-road as well. Not that I think I'll be doing much off-road, to be honest with you, but I like the looks of the thing as well. So that was the first choice. I also made inquiries about importing a Kawasaki KL 650. So these go back absolute decades. They stopped doing it for a while and they brought out a new one, but it's not available in the UK where I live. But by the time you talk in terms of the purchase price plus your taxes, import duties and all the rest of it, then you know you might as well just buy a Yamaha Tenere 700. The price is going to be about the same. So there was that. The other thing which concerns me a little bit is the amount of traffic on the road, and you know, the number of fatalities on the road. It's obviously a concern, especially with somebody who has a severe anxiety disorder. But you know, you can't lead your life governed by fear, can you? Now, the quad bike's coming because on the occasions that I've been on holiday, particularly to Turkey, I've always hired out quad bikes, and I absolutely love them, especially when you're going through the countryside or that sort of thing. Absolutely fantastic. Now, basically, I've decided that I want a bike which is capable of going 2 up, so you know, me and Tina, or else you can just, if there isn't a passenger, just put a load of luggage on the back, which suits me, especially camping, that sort of thing. And also to do some touring, because my semi-retirement is coming up very shortly. I just work reduced hours at the moment, and I have this vision of having my big camper van with a trailer on the back with my quad bike, so when I get to the actual destination, you know, either myself and Tina, or myself and some camping stuff, you know, we can just stick it on the back of the quad and do some touring around the countryside and the coastal areas of the UK. So that's the my vision, as it were. Now, so it needs to be 2 up, it needs to be powerful enough to carry 2 people easily, so it's got to be a minimum 650. I've seen a couple of bikes which I like. Now the thing is, the one which I actually prefer, the colour scheme, I'm not as keen on. It's a TGB Blade 1000, and it's a tourer with an extra long wheelbase. So it's mainly sort of like a grey black with some yellow, I don't know, accents, highlights, that sort of thing. It's a lovely looking vehicle, but the one that's smaller than that is dark grey with some blue accents, which is, I think, looks a little bit nicer, but it's not anywhere near as powerful, obviously. So I think I'm going to go for the 1000 tourer. So yeah, I just thought I'd mention it with you. Obviously I'll keep you updated. It's going to be within the next few months. I'm not quite sure which one I'm going to buy first, because I've still got quite a bit of work to do on the house, but I just sort of mention it, you know, to you. And also I'm going to do some vlogs from the quad bike as well, and also I'm going to be doing bids as I travel around the UK. So there's a lot of quite interesting adventurous stuff coming up, which I'm really looking forward to, and hopefully you'll be looking forward to watching as well. Anyway, I don't want to waffle unnecessarily, so I'm going to cut it short here. Thanks for tuning in once again. Hope you have a glorious day where you are.